what was the bridge from, you know, rehearsing things and having your licks and all that to learning how to play in the moment, how to truly improvise?
One of the things that I had with me since I was a little kid is that I always played my own solos in all the covers we did.
Oh, so you didn't learn the solos note for
No, I
note.
wanted to do my own.
So you already had that sense of
wanted-
composition
Yes.
with...
I wanted to.
Yeah.
I wanted to improvise my own solo. It's a thing that I wanted to have my own sound. As a kid, I don't know if I read in the magazines or heard people talking about, because of Jimmy Page and Jimi Hendrix and all those Angus Young and the greats, I wanted to have my sound. I wanted to play and somebody said, oh, that's Rafael. I wanted to do that. That's a thing. And I just didn't want to learn. I didn't want to play their solos. I wanted to play my own.
Would you compose the solos and then play a rehearsed solo, or would you change it up every time you play?
Single time. Every single time I played on American Idol, on The Voice, or Rockstar CBS, I improvised every single time.
Yeah, of course, because you had all that training. But when you were
But
a
it wasn't
kid,
a training,
when you were
right?
a kid,
Yeah.
and you said, I want to play my own solos,
Yeah.
what did you do?
I
And
knew where it was. I knew I had good ears.
So you, every time you played a solo as a kid, it was full-on improvisation.
Of course, because I knew where the key was.
Sure.
When I was playing the song, I was like, oh, here's the pentatonic shape number 1, the one that we all play. So I knew that I could improvise right there.
Yeah. You knew the scales, you knew the notes.
Well, not the scales.
Right.
I knew where the pentatonic was.
Right.
Now there's different shapes of that pentatonic.
Sure. You knew that one.
But I knew that one well, and I could play and you know, and use a little bit of a natural sense in between melody and rhythm. They run in parallels to everyone watching, and you can mix and match them to create something.
Yeah.
So that's what I did. Just to go back, a lot of professional musicians to this day with training work every solo. Every single solo they do.
Yeah, they work it out.
They work it out.
Yep.
And I'm telling you, every single time I stepped in front of the TV, I didn't.
Yeah.
Because it's something I feel really comfortable doing.
So, but you didn't feel comfortable doing it in jazz. What was...
I did. I just took me a while to learn every scale.
Oh, okay.
Every changes.
So the concept, and in a way, right, and in some way, some of the confidence to be able to go, hey, I'm just going to wing this thing. Your knowledge had to sort of catch up.
I had to learn harmony.
Yeah.
Because it's not one key. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even in rock, I mean, there's some times where there's 2 different keys and 2 different harmonic, you know.
It's like tonal centers.
Fields. Yeah. And but in jazz, sometimes you have 2, 3, 4 that, you know.
Yeah.
Sometimes you play by each chord, depending, or you figure out what 2 or 3 chords are doing, and they're the same key center. And then you can move from one key center to the other. It's a little more relaxing when you're improvising.
Sure.
And sometimes you play for each chord. And you learned that at MI, and I wanted to learn. I wanted to learn what that was. And then apply that natural ability that I had to always be in the moment. I couldn't work out a jazz solo to save my life. I mean, I would write a melody. Yeah, maybe you have a line that you learned, that you came up with, or you transcribed from somebody. That's why I'm saying, like, if we go back into, if we get into this, and I say, like, yeah, I'll tell people, you know, transcribing is great, especially for your ears. But are you going to really, when you're going into improvisation, are you really just going to do a collage every time? Collage of a bunch of licks of everybody else? Right. So I always encourage everyone to be themselves, and how to do that is to bring that person forth through the guitar. I want to hear their voice, and the way to do it is to create a template where they always use the template to speak their voice.
What would be the template?
Well, that's a whole course thing. You know what I'm saying? But it's very important, because I had that as a young kid as a naturality.
Sure.
Right? And then I went to music school to understand different key center, different scales, you know what I mean? The major, the minor, which divides into four, you know what I mean? The natural, the Dorian, the harmonic, and the melodic.
Yeah.
And with that, you already can do a lot of damage.
Oh yeah.
You know
Absolutely.
what I mean? As long as you understand it. And I learned a lot from Scott Henderson that sometimes just changing a note or two, just looking at the notes and, oh, I can raise just one note and change the scale.
Right.
You know, and you don't have to be jumping. And I created things called shape proximity, you know, different shapes. They're all so together. You don't need to be jumping like Peter Pan. You know? In order for you to speak in the moment and always feel comfortable to say something, create motifs, developing it. So, you know, it's a cool concept that you have to just want to learn, just want to do it all the time and embrace it and not be afraid to fall in your face a few times. You know what I mean?
Well, let's talk about that for a moment.